Here is the Dvar Malchut, a speech given by the Lubavitcher Rebbe, who, for all apparent say logic and reason, is the Moshiach. And Moshiach has to doing the job of Moshiach. Here it is, to make us think about God and why we're here in the world. And here it goes. The Rebbe, Lubavitcher Rebbe, gave a speech. The Moshiach said this. This is a speech given in 1991 by the Rebbe, right before the holiday of Shavuot. The holiday of Shavuot is when we receive the Torah. The Jewish people receive the Torah 3,338 years ago. Dober Pamim Rabot, we have spoken many times. Shebenosef, that in addition, the Tochen HaKlali, to the general content. Let's see if we can make this bigger here. Let's make it bigger. Is it worthwhile? Oh. We have spoken many times that in addition to the general content of the holiday, Shabo Shavuot Kol Hashanim, that is equal, which is equal every year. Yeshnam, right? The holiday of Shavuot is the same holiday. We've been celebrating this holiday for 3,338 years. It's exactly the same every year, but there is also limudim yuchadim. There are also special teachings and lessons from how this holiday comes out in a special year. And let us explain this in what it means this year. Let's go. This year is special that Chag HaShavuot, that the holiday of Shavuot comes immediately after Shabbat. Now that's how it was when the Rebbe was speaking. But by us, it's not so. By us, the holiday of Shavuot this year comes out the day before Shabbat, and outside of Israel comes out before Shabbat and on Shabbat as well. Okay, but the lessons are still relevant to us. Hainu, sheha avodah, that the service of the holiday of Shavuot has to be done with and under the influence of Shabbat, Holy Shabbat. And especially that there is no separation between them. In weekdays, that's relevant to us. Kach, also that there is a chazaka, also that there is what's called a chazaka of 3 holy days in a row. Right? Outside of Israel, Shavuot is 2 days. 2 days. So by the Rebbe, this year that the Rebbe was speaking, it was Shabbat, and afterwards came 2 days of holiday. So there was 3 days in a row which were holy. By us, it's only going to be 2 days. 2 days of holiness. Friday and Shabbat. The same thing is going to be outside of Israel also. Friday and Shabbat. Okay, but nevertheless, it's still relevant. Shabbat and Shavuot are joined, and there's a special lesson to be learned from that in our year. And again, we have to remember that the holidays are given by God Himself. These are not just a group of rabbis that met together and they decided that for religious purposes, we're going to make this holiday to commemorate this thing and this holiday commemorate that thing, which also would be, that also would be very impressive, very true, and because the whole rabbis were certainly very holy people, right? But they're not as holy as God. And even if Moses would have made up the holidays, that would have been even more impressive and more obligating. And that also would have been sufficient reason for us to keep the holidays and to do it. But it wasn't Moses. It was God that made these holidays up. And God is the same exact God that's creating me and you right now. So the Torah is called living Torah. It means, and the holidays are a little bit of a window into this infinite life of the Creator that is creating and giving us this commandment right now. So let us look into this window. Says the Rebbe, this year is a double window, a window of Shabbat and the window of Shavuot. Okay. Such an arrangement that Shabbat and Shavuot come right next to each other or together is mechuleket gam bekach. It's also unusual in the fact that the first day of Chag Shavuot comes to be Sunday. By us, it's Friday. And Shehu bedugmas Yom Rishon the Ma'aseh Bereshit, which that's like the first day of the creation of the world. Kamuvan sheshir shel Yom Zeh, that the song which was sung in the Holy Temple, every day in the Holy Temple, there was a different song that was sung by the Levites. We say that song now. The song that's sung on the first day comes to the second day of the week, and after that, the day afterwards, which is the third day of the week. Okay, all of the things, and especially which are according to the Torah of the holidays, they are b'hashgacha pratit. They are very exact direction of God. Pratit means exact, individual, and hashgacha means with God's direction. Everything that happens in the world is directed by God. The Baal Shem Tov pointed out that even when an ant or a worm finds out a leaf, that's directed by God. What could possibly be an importance of something like that? You might ask. So if you do ask, a good question. The answer is that I don't know. Nobody knows, but God knows. God knows. God knows the importance of every single ant that finds every single hole, whatever it is, that every ant stumbles over a tree. Everything has some sort of an importance in the big picture of the whole entire world. Everything is infinitely important, for no other reason that God is creating everything. But tachlit adiuk, and everything is very, very exact. Umizem, move on from this, it's understood that when the holiday of Shavuot, when it comes in juxtaposition with Shabbat, there must be a special teaching, even more, and gives an extra power to do the intention, the purpose of this holiday. Okay, so what is the purpose? God is giving this window into the infinite. He's also giving an infinite. Now are we looking into the window, but God is also looking through that window to us. He's giving us powers and giving us inspiration. So what is this inspiration? Here it goes. Ready? The connection between the holiday of Shavuot. And why is it called Shavuot? The Shavuot means weeks. So we had to count 7 weeks, right? Then God gave the Torah. That's the time of the giving of the Torah. What's the connection of Shavuot with Shabbat? Like I said, this year Shavuot is going to be on Friday and Shabbat is immediately afterwards. This is stressed in the rabbis' saying of the rabbis. Where is it said? Is said in the Talmud in Shabbat. Shabbat, the Talmud Shabbat, it's a big tractate. It has over 100 pages, but Shabbat on page 86, 87, it talks about, it's a whole section about giving of the Torah. What happened when God gave the Torah? All the little details of what happened, how everybody's souls jumped out of their bodies, and etc. when God gave the Torah. The angel said, don't give the Torah, etc. Okay, so it's talking about the giving of the Torah. So especially it says, the Kuli Alma, everyone agrees, B'Shabbat nitna Torah l'Yisrael. What was the day of the week when God gave the Torah? Was Shabbat. The 6th day of Sivan is the day when God gave the Torah. That was determined from the beginning of the world. Yom HaShishi, the 6th day. And that day was, when did God give the Torah? Actually, the 6th day of Sivan was, Sivan is one of the months, the 3rd month of the Jewish year. And it was Shabbat. Okay. So the Torah was given on Shabbat. Kaven, since the calling since that everything that happens in the world is very exact, how much more so things which are attached to the idea of giving the Torah. So it's understood that the fact that on Shabbat the Torah was given, and also it says that everyone agrees, the Kuli Alma, This is because the Torah and Shabbat have a connection, an inner connection to the both of them. Okay, just for some people said that I should always remind I should announce where we are. And so we're learning the speech of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Dvar Malchut, and we are now in the second paragraph, paragraph Beit. So there must be an inner connection between Shabbat. Shabbat occurs 52 times in the year, and the giving of the Torah, which occurred only one time, and that was 3,300 years ago. So what's the connection? Okay, we're going to see. Yesh Lomo, we can say that one of the explanations is like this. Shabbat, the whole topic of Shabbat is menucha. The whole topic of Shabbat is that reminding us that God is really doing everything. That's Shabbat. The day of Shabbat is Appreciation Day. If you want to call it Independence Day, we're independent from the world on Shabbat. The world doesn't have an effect on us. We don't think about what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to improve things. The world is okay. Shabbat, the world is God's world on Shabbat. That Shabbat is a day of rest. Kamayim Razal, like this rabbi say, Ma haya olam chaser, what was the world missing when God created the world? Menucha, rest. Bo Shabbat, bo menucha. In other words, God created the world in 6 days. All of these days were days that God worked, so to speak. God created things, and the things were all alive, and everything was moving, and everything felt that they had a purpose, and they had to be fruitful and multiply, and etc. and etc. And everything was perfect. The world was there perfect. What was the world missing? It was missing purpose. It was missing purpose. Everything was going and moving and reproducing and eating and sleeping and they're doing all it was supposed to do. But what was missing some sort of an inner unchanging purpose. Menucha, rest. Something that was not, how do you say, given to change. Rest. Or in simple language, God. All the rest, 6 days of the week are creation days, and Shabbat is Creator Day. It's not up to you. The results are not up to you. The results are up to God. You have to work, but the results are up to God. Take it easy. Take it easy. If things don't come out the way you want, take it easy. Leave something up to God. Menucha. U'b'lashon Birchat HaMazon, in the language we say, in the blessing after eating on Shabbat, we say, a Rachaman, that God should, the merciful one, the all-merciful one, should give us a day that is kula Shabbat, a day that is totally Shabbat, u'menucha l'chai olamim, and rest forever and ever. In other words, what does that mean? In the days of the Moshiach, everyone will see that the world belongs to God. Everyone will see that you don't have to worry. God is creating you. You can't create everything. We're in God's hands. The world is God's world. Do what God wants and be partners with God. God will create you whether you do what he wants to or not, right? Even if you do all the sins in the world, God is still creating you. That's the way it works nowadays. There's no flood anymore. So if he's giving everything for free, so realize it's him doing it, so give him something for free. Shabbat is the day of rest. It's God's day. And especially what in the prayer, we say that in the prayers of the after eating, that the Shabbat is the day of rest forever. And in the prayers of Mincha of Shabbat, we say, Yom Menucha, Menuchat Shalom. It's a day of rest of peace, peaceful rest. It is a complete, total rest that Ata Rotzeh that you want. Ubakama Makomot, in many places, it says also other, it's mentioning Shabbat is a rest, day of resting. What does it mean, resting? It's not up to you. It's up to God. God is creating the world without you. You can take it easy. Even a menucha, this brings a completion in the giving of the Torah. Why? Like it says, a sentence, Vayi Erev, Vayi Boker, Yom Shishi, it says in the last, look in the beginning of the Bible, it says that God created the world on the first day. The second day says there was the evening and there was the morning 1 day. The evening and the morning 2 days. The evening, finally it comes the evening and the morning, Yom HaShishi. It says it was evening and it was the morning, the sixth day. The sixth day. Why does it say the sixth day? All the others, it says it was the evening and the morning, first day, second day, third day. When it comes to this, it says the sixth day. Why the sixth day? The sixth day is talking about the sixth day of Sivan. Here we go. Melamed, this teaches that God made a condition with the whole creation and said, if the Jewish people receive the Torah, that the Torah was given on the sixth day of Sivan, then if the Jewish people receive the Torah, this is 2,400 years after God creates the world, right? So God said, I'll keep the world going for 2,448 years. If the Jewish people receive the Torah, then I'll keep the world going. If not, ani machzir otchem tohu vavohu. Then there is no world. What does it mean there's no world? There never was a world. God will just, that's it. No trace. Like it says, Eretz Yerev Shakata. Like it says that when the Jewish people received the Torah, it says that the earth saw and it became quiet. What does it mean it became quiet? In the beginning, Yira, the world was, Yira was afraid. In the beginning, it's a sentence in Psalms. In the beginning, which Psalm is it? I'll tell you 1 second. Psalm 76 says that the world saw, and the world was afraid. The world was afraid and it became quiet. In the beginning, the world was afraid. What do you mean afraid? That the world was how do you say, like not firm. That's a better word for it. Not really existing. And in the end, it became quiet. What does it mean? That the world is being created by God all the time. And it's being, whether we know it or not, the world is created on certain conditions. And if those conditions are not fulfilled, then God stops creating the world. So if God stops creating the world, what happens to the old world? He just doesn't create it from now and onward. No, it means he stops creating time. It means there never was such a thing as time. No, there's no past. Time is past, present, and future. If the Jewish people don't receive the Torah, then God said, that's it. I'm not going to create the world. World means there's no space and there's no time. Time is past, present, and future. So there's no time. There's no past. If the Jewish people don't receive the Torah, that's it. There's nothing that ever was. Lochin, therefore, God would have started it over. Who knows? Lochin, therefore, everyone says that on Shabbat, the Torah was given. Why? Because when God gave the Torah, received the Torah, there was calmness. The world became calm, firm. And you say, with no worries. Shabbat bo menucha. That's the total, complete idea of when Shabbat came. There was calmness, peace. The world became certain. Okay, third paragraph. Gimel. Habir, the explanation is, how can it be that rest, calmness was caused by means of Shabbat and Torah? Why does the Shabbat and the Torah give calmness? No, but interesting thing, Shabbat and the Torah are only for the Jews. Only for the Jews. A non-Jew is not allowed to keep Shabbat, even to make up your own day. Non-Jews are not allowed to keep Shabbat. Non-Jews have to think about God all the time. True, but a non-Jew has to be productive all the time. Non-Jews are part of the creation. They're the highest thing in creation. But the Jewish people, they're the lowest part of the Creator. And the Creator gave the Jewish people Shabbat and the Torah. Also, a non-Jew is not supposed to learn Talmud. He's not supposed to learn Torah. He can learn the Torah as far as it's relevant to him. The 7 Noahide commandments, you can know that there is a Torah. You can learn the ideas of the Torah, and etc. But to get into the details and the explanations of the Torah, that's not for the non-Jews. The Jews are the ones that explain. So those two things, Torah and Shabbat, those are specially for the Jews. And the Jews were chosen to bring meaning and, they say, stability to the world. The Torah gives meaning and Shabbat gives stability. Okay, let's see. Ha'olam, the world on its own, was created in a way that it's always moving. All the atoms are moving, all the quarks are moving, the sun, the time is constantly moving. Everything that's alive is moving. When something dies, it just doesn't stay that way. It rots. It's always moving. Things are always the opposite of calmness. That when God created the world, it was missing stability, calmness. Everything is always moving around. First of all, there are changes in time. First day, second day, third day. That means that changing time, past, present, and future. And in general, there is kadima ve'achor, forward and backward. What's in the past, what's in before us, what's behind us. All the creations in the world, shegidro time b'makom, that the world, another, how do you say, definition of world is time and place. Kafufim are all totally controlled by time in such a way that everything is always changing and getting older. In addition to this, there's also changes, details in every creation in itself. Where this goes up to, okay, creation itself, okay. What happened? 1 second, I lost the place. Excuse me. But yes, okay. And the day of Shabbat brings rest into the world. Shabbat comes, rest comes to the world. Why? Since the whole entire creation was finished on the sixth day. It says, Vayechulu Hashemayim v'oretz v'chol tzavam, that was finished, the heavens and the earth and all of their hosts, and God finished everything that he did. That was said when? The end of Friday. So therefore, we can feel b'kol olam, the whole world, that there is a world. And the world is always changing. And every detail of the world is different from every other detail, right? Every atom is in a different place from every other atom. So everything is different. and everything is, every individual is also changing itself from what it was in the past to what it is now. Everything was created from one God. The intention is that God, the one intention of God, B'kol Prati Abriya, in all of the creation and all of the details, massive, infinite details of creation. We're talking about also the angels. She'im nalit mishinu yazman. The purpose of it is higher than any changes. Remember, that's what we learned about last week, the one utterance that God created the world from. Therefore, harihu mevia menucha b'kol abriya. If you reveal the creator in the creation, so that brings stability into the whole business. Biyotam kashurim in menucha, because then the whole thing is connected to rest, whether in time, like it's known that Shabbat is an elevation from below, from time. Therefore, in the beginning, matchilim, we start to count again. After Shabbat, what's the day after Shabbat? We don't say there's sixth day, then came Shabbat, is the seventh day, and after that comes the eighth day, and then the ninth. No, we don't. We say there's first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, Shabbat, first day. We go back to the first day again. Shabu ish tachtav. On Shabbat, everything becomes calm, and then it starts over again. When was this made complete? All of the changes in the world, and this whole cycle of change and change and change, and then finally comes down to one day when everything is calm. when do we put the calmness of Shabbat into all of the other days of the world? When do we reveal the Creator in every detail of the creation? Not only on Shabbat, but all the other 6 days of the world on the Torah, when God gave the Torah. When the Jewish people received the Torah from God, since that this is the purpose of the creation of all of these details in the world was created for the sake of the Torah and for the sake of the Jews. When we complete the whole purpose of the creation, and if it was the Jewish people through the Torah, we put the whole thing together. We make sense of it. We put this puzzle together. The whole world was created for one big, massive, godly purpose in a way that we can feel in the world, in all of the details of the world, we can feel that this brings peace and quiet and stability to the whole entire world. By means of fulfilling this condition that God made with the world, that God made with the whole condition, that if the Jewish people receive the Torah, then the world will exist. But if the Jewish people don't receive the Torah, it means that the world is truly meaningless and purposeless, and there's no harmony. And the explanation in this is, kafi as it is in simple details, in the nature of man, kasher adam einu margish, if a person does not feel at kavana v'tachlit b'chayav, if a person does not feel that there is any reason or any goal in life, then that person cannot really justify his own existence. What is the purpose of man in the world? I was created to serve my owner. It's in the last Mishnah in Kiddushin. If a person does not feel that there is God, and I am being created by God, and God is creating me from love, and God is giving me a purpose. I'm not just being created just to eat and to sleep. I'm created to do something. What is that something? Even a little something. Even to be a pleasant person, to be an honest person. You know how rare that is? If you're a pleasant person, that's a rarity that there's no similarity to it. To be a decent person, you're 1 in a million. If a person feels that, then if a person does not have that feeling that he's being created and he's being created for a purpose, he's not able to be menucha. He can never really be calm, vidyashvut emitit, truly settled. Kavan seshino yazaman, since the changes of time and place and all the many details and the details of the details, b'shebachayav, in a person's life, gormim, they cause a person isheket tamidi, a lack of peace. I'm worried about what's going to be, what's going to happen, right? A person wins the lottery, $220 million. What's the first thing? He thought, I hope nobody steals it from me. He's all worried about it, all that, instead of being happy. And he looks at somebody else and says, you won 20 million, but Shmerel, the next door neighbor, right, he won 40 million. How did he win 40 million? He's twice as good. All of a sudden, all these crazy things. Why? Because you feel that there's nothing except for yourself. You're alone. You have no purpose. You're just here. You don't know why you're here. This causes a person to go crazy. His lack of peace. He's constantly lacking security. He's constantly lacking happiness. And this breaks the person. When a person doesn't feel he has any purpose for his existence, no reason, in the language of Professor Viktor Frankl, no meaning. Davka kasher, when a person feels that he has a purpose, a meaning, an intention, and a goal, a tamuna, which is concealed in every detail of his life, harizem mevi, this brings to peace. Shehu lamayla mitanua, this is above any movement and any change. So therefore, this is the completion of man. Like we see simply, that a man is found more complete when he has kasher yesh lo menucha, when he is at ease. menuchat hanefesh, menuchat haguf. I know that playing like guitar, one of the things they say when you're playing guitar or piano or any instrument is don't be tense. Don't tense up. Relax. Relax yourself. What does tension comes from? You worry, what's going to be? Am I going to play properly? Am I going to make this? Am I going to make another mistake? Am I going to get it properly? Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't get you involved in it. You should be thinking about the music, the beauty of the music, and play. You make a mistake, okay, don't worry. Don't make it tense. Get tense, you're going to make more mistakes. People go through their whole life and they're tense. They're tense. They're worried about what's going to be, what's going to be. Don't worry what's going to be, right? Let God worry about what's going to be. Your job is to do what God wants. Be a productive person, be a nice person, be a kind person, be an honest person. But Yeteramizu, even more, this brings peace not just to the person himself, but everyone that's around him, in his whole surrounding. Shein nasim b'shlemut yetera u'b'yeter hatzlacha kasher eim nasim mitoch menucha. Things are done better when you are calm. Until it can bring actual calmness and peace in the whole world. Similarly, we can understand the idea of the giving of the Torah. When the Jewish people received the Torah, there was revealed the whole purpose of creation, that the whole creation was given in order that the Torah and the Jewish people should put meaning and purpose in the world. Bnei Yisrael, that the Jewish people should receive the Torah and the commandments, and they should do them, and they should, by means of that, have an influence on the non-Jews also, that they should do their 7 Noahide commandments. Of theirs, the 7 Noahide commandments: don't kill, don't steal, don't be licentious, don't worship idols, don't blaspheme, right? It said don't eat a limb from a living, taken from a living animal, don't have courts of justice, and there's many more. Those only the prohibitions. They say there's also 30 positive ones. Honor your parents, love God. By means of this, the whole world becomes a dwelling for God. Then you can reveal godliness in the world. That brings peace in the whole world. Odd until Shemizeh, that this has drawn down peace in every single detail of changing time and place. The world, again, is God's world. So therefore, you let God take over. Al derech menucha Shabbat, like Shabbat, that from it is blessed all of the days. That the 6 days of the creation, that the 6 days of creation, kasher oskim, the malachat olam, when you're involved in matters of the world, where everything is constantly changing, then when you bring the Torah into the world, then gam kasher oskim, even when you're working, even the smallest details of the world, you're a brain surgeon, and you have to be very, very exact. Nevertheless, you're calm. You're calm. You know, I am at least trying to do what God wants. Then you do every single detail with calmness. The mela, so therefore, everything is done in a complete way. And that's the whole idea of Shabbat and the Torah. Shabbat brings calmness in time, and Torah brings it into the physical world, into every day of the week and every detail of the week, as we're going to talk about tomorrow. That was accomplished when God gave the Torah to the Jewish people on Shabbat.